46, 47, 48, sorry, 50, 1, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 56, 7, 8, 61, 65, 66, 7, 68, 70, 71, 72, 73, 24, 5, 76, 78, 9, 80, 81,
Indian population connectedness with the technology sector. I feel honored to introduce our first distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Arun MD, who serves as the Senior Director and Country Manager for India Market at Hexaware Technologies. Responsibility of steering the company's growth and profitability in the Indian market. With an impressive career spanning for more than 50 years, standing of IT delivery, consulting, system development across diverse geographies, including Europe and North America. He started his career at IIM Belgium and then proceeded to pursue a post program in management, Indian School of Business. Post his management education, gained expertise in sales strategy, solutioning, and innate understanding of client needs and industry trends. He served as an engagement manager and moved to head Limited as the key account manager for its manufacturing business unit. Beyond his illustrious career, he's an ultra marathoner. His marks achievements include the completion of the ultra marathon in 12 hours, 6 minutes, and around the average 40 kilometers, which completed in the duration of hours. His significant achievements demonstrate commitment to discipline, endurance, and perseverance. It's a privilege to have Mr. Arun share his insights and experiences with us today. And thank you, sir, for being a part of our Vivaan Business Hour. Thanks. I'm just a senior coordinator of IIFT, Mr. Arun. This is me. For that. Now I'd like to introduce our second distinguished guest speaker for the day, Mr. Manish Saraf. Mr. Manish Saraf is an accomplished product leader with an impressive corporate journey spanning across top organizations such as Walmart, Blackhawk Network, Bound, Cola, and Food Panda. With over a decade, they just have over a decade of experience in building high value B2B and B2C products in sectors including mobility, hyperlocal, e-commerce, and payments, Mr. Manish has consistently demonstrated a customer focused and results oriented approach. With his expertise in stakeholder management, agile methodology, and market research. In addition to his corporate journey, he is a dedicated mentor who has guided and inspired over 100 individuals spanning across multiple geographies. It is a privilege for us to have him here, share his insights and experiences with us today. I thank you, sir, for being a part of our Vivaan Business Summit. I request our senior coordinator to felicitate Mr. Manish, sir. Moving on, we have Mr. Siddhartha Roy, Director of Product at Swiggy and an alumnus of IIMA. I'd like to make a presence here. Mr. Siddhartha Roy brings over a decade of experience in scaling digital products across diverse companies like Swiggy, JioSaavn, Network18, Home Shop Agent, and DBS Bank. With a remarkable track record of successfully launching and managing innovative products such as data management platform, a full-scale news OTT, and an industry-leading payments infrastructure. His corporate journey is a testament to exceptional leadership and strategic prowess. Beyond his impressive professional achievements, he dedicates a significant portion of his time to mentoring aspiring professionals at various educational institutions. It is a privilege for us to have you here. I thank you, sir, for being a part of the One Business Summit. Now I request coordinators to felicitate him. Today's discussion theme global success, leveraging Gen AI for Indian tech companies, promises to be an enlightening and informative exchange of ideas and knowledge. We eagerly look forward to the profound insights our distinguished speakers will share as they help us navigate the dynamic intersection of technology, innovation, and global success. Thank you.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Technology Summit, and thank you all for joining us today. I'm Vishwanath Jaswant, Senior Cell Coordinator of the Product Management Cell at IIFT Kolkata, and I'll be moderating this panel discussion today. Firstly, I want to again express my gratitude to our esteemed panel members who took out their time of their busy schedule and got ready to share their valuable insights on the topic how Gen AI can help Indian tech companies craft a global presence. Speaking of the topic, I first want to ask a question from the audience. Like by the show of hands, how many of you can tell that have ever used ChatGPT or have used like tools like Rally for image generation or some sort of AI tool available on the internet for video creation sort of thing? So can you guys tell me with the show of hands? Yeah. And how often do you use it? I mean, I know that we use it for our assignments quite often, but again, what about the panel members? I mean, it's quite often with you guys also, or is it like just experimental thing going right now? It's recent. Recent, okay. I'm looking at, I heard somebody saying almost always. So, yeah, I mean, looking at such a response, I'm not surprised that ChatGPT broke record when it went live and had 1 million users within the first 5 days. Excuse me. Excuse me. Right. You mentioned about using ChatGPT for statement. That's something new. So does it help? Okay. You are a little unlikely to not having this during our time. So. Sure, sir. I agree with you. So, according to a McKinsey research report, it has shown that Gen AI could enable automation up to 70% of business activities across almost all occupations between now and 2030. But we have seen these major advancements as we have moved away from the traditional AIML, from being able to simply perceive and classify to now generate and create really human-like content. So that brings us to why we are here today, as we will uncover how Gen AI is revolutionizing Indian tech companies from personalized user experience to multilingual capabilities propelling to international recognition. So to start the discussion, first I would like to discuss what is the role of Gen AI in driving innovation among Indian tech companies. So Gen AI has played a pivotal role in driving product innovation and differentiation. By enabling the creation of global solutions, Gen AI has empowered these companies to stay at the forefront of technological advancements and distinguish themselves in a highly competitive market. For example, Myntra's My Fashion GPT. So if you simply give a prompt like give me beach outfit for my Goa vacation, so it would start giving you results like shorts, t-shirt, hats, and sunglasses, right? So how cool is it? And speaking of this, we want to hear from our esteemed panelists that how Gen AI specifically contributed to product innovation and differentiation. And can you cite some examples of successful applications of Gen AI showcasing its impact on the industry? So we can start. Another you would want to take a lead? Yeah, I will take that. So there is a lot of excitement about the generative AI technology, the way it can help consumer and also big enterprises. Almost all enterprise companies across industries are very keen to use generative AI to create solutions which can bring competitive advantage versus the competition. But currently, they are very cautious about picking the right use cases, which needs to go like first. There are two major reasons I see because of that. First one is the scare of security. How do you protect your sensitive and private data while you put expose them to the Gen AI solutions? The second one, it's regarding generative AI being a black box. You cannot predict the outcomes which is coming out of the solutions you are building. And if you expose these solutions directly to your end customers, there is a threat of getting really bad brand impact if a single question goes wrong from these generic solutions. You've seen what happened to the brand, like 100 billion. I think that was the market value eroded for Alphabet and Google because of what inaccurate answer it has given. So, considering these two major points, the companies are very cautious in choosing their first set of AI solutions. And we are helping customers as Hexaware. We are helping customers in circumventing these challenges by carefully choosing solutions which can help their end customers, but do not have the risk of impacting their experience or threat to their brand value. I want to explain one use case specifically here in insurance, specialty insurance and commercial insurance segment. Do you know which is the most prosperous street in the world? Any guesses? No, not Wall Street. Any other guesses? Which one? No. No, it's not a stock market street. It is a street in France called Avenue du Champagne. Beneath this street, there is chalk cellars holding 200 million plus champagne bottles. And this street has survived the Napoleon's conquest and the two world wars. The cellars beneath has stayed safe. Today, this street holds the world record for the largest premium paid for a street per kilometer. Now, this is a specialty insurance segment. Now, how do a company come up with an insurance premium for such kind of a commodity? So that's a process called underwriting, which involves a really specialized team assessing, evaluating, and estimating risk profile for the party which you are going to insure. To come to a premium for this the example which we spoke, it will take many months or to a year to get to a conclusion. What is the risk profile and what is the premium? We have built a Gen AI solution which help underwriters to make their job easier. What it does is, see, this underwriting involves going through a lot of documents, a lot of videos, a lot of interview recordings, etc., and then they evaluate some parameters and then come up with the risk and the final premium price. So the Gen AI solution we created will go automatically into a set of documents with a predefined prompts, and then the output you will get is a set of red flags and green flags. So the underwriter, instead of going into 100 documents and coming to the key points which he need to look into, the Gen AI gives him say kickstart. By showing that this is the 10 green and 10 red items you need to look into, and this is a document in this page, this session you need to see and assess yourself. So basically, Gen AI is not giving him the final output, but it is helping him by speeding up his process of assessing the risk for the party involved. This solution is already gone live for a specialty insurance customer in London, and we are in discussion with an Indian insurance company to implement the same in the India market. So this actually has the potential to bring down the actually effective time of underwriting to 50% at least, and the kind of experience customer is going to get is multi-fold. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, what I really got from Arun's discussion is that alcohol trumps everything. That's what I really got out of what Arun just said. But jokes apart, first of all, thank you everyone for joining on 4:30 on this apparently the third day of your summit. Thank you. See, as Arun said, right, Gen AI is something which sounds very interesting. Is actually very interesting, and companies across the board are trying to use it in a different ways. Swiggy also has been exploring a few different things. The Mitra example, which was just presented, right? Very similar to that, we have been exploring the solution where you let's say just prompt Swiggy saying, "Yeah, I've come from the gym. What food should I eat?" Right, and then it basically goes into the database, searches for health conscious food, high protein food, low calorie food, or something on those lines. right? And then it gives you a result, right? Now, and there are multiple applications. The CTO of Swiggy recently wrote a blog where he explained all of these things in detail. So there are multiple such applications that Swiggy and a lot of other companies are also doing. But in my mind, I don't think we've even scratched the surface, right? Most of what we are doing, or at least most of what we get excited by, whether it's a Mitra example or some other examples, right, are effectively solutions which were already there present in the market in some format or the other, is now repackaged in a much better way, right? Think about it. Searching for food that you eat after gym is effectively a search term, right? It's just that now you're repackaging it in a conversational AI, prompting the system to give you a result, and then you feel happy about it, saying it's formation, right? It may be, right? But conversational AI at its core is about going into your database, looking into a set of inputs, and generating an output which is different from the input which already existed. Right? It has to be additional to the input that has been generated. It can't be something which is just a manipulated format of that and then can you give it up. Right? Which today a lot of the organizations are actually doing, and then they say, hey, look, we are doing Gen AI and so on. So I think it will still take some time till we really get to the crux of what we are calling Gen AI and conversational AI. Right.
Yeah. Thanks, Siddhartha. One point which I loved was that what Swiggy is doing really. I think being a foodie, going to different places and not to know what to order, or what to go and just will solve that a lot. The one important point which I guess both of you all agreed was it's just the tip of the iceberg what has been scratched as of now, and that also which was visible, and it is just getting repackaged. Domains like healthcare, education, that is where, at least in India, we can see we have a lot of scope to explore Gen AI. We see that from a skill set point of view, Gen AI can replace an assistant which many people never had, and they needed it, and because of that, be it education, be it healthcare, was never as per to the mark which people expected. So, for example, when we are doing this session all together, everyone is tired. There might be many folks who can just say, I want a summary of this session. So there could have been a summarizer here, which is based on Gen AI, which would have just given in 1 hour summary of the whole 3 day session. So that is what powerful this tool can be. But again, it comes with lot of caveats, lot of negative concerns, which can be solved by regulations, government, but yes, all is on the hands of who is building it. So whenever any company starts building it, anyone you all are using it for your assignments also, just consider that it is just 99% accurate, and most of the answers which you are getting from any of the two might be similar to what your friend sitting next to you would be giving. So using it in the best possible way in the right domain would help in long run, be it at an individual level, be it at an enterprise, or even overall at scale, what most of the companies are trying to do. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, which is the most important thing here, because we have a lot of things to be explored in this domain as of now.
Yeah, I think law, for example, right? Legal, the a large part of law and legal is based on what we call as precedents, right? A judgment is made always looking at what past judgments has been made. Even judges, right? They will look at past rulings, past judgments, and then give you a ruling based on that, right? There, I think there's a lot of scope of Gen AI. Right? And in a country like India, where there are thousands and thousands of cases which are pending because of lack of judges, lack of lawyers, and I think if someone can think on those lines and transform the legal space in India, that is where you are really, really unlocking one in Gen AI.
Yes, sir, absolutely. We all agree with the different verticals that you guys talked about. And in fact, there are also like when we talk about Gen AI, as you said that conversational AI is one thing, the other part of it, but there are multiple aspects to it. Like when we say we have a personalized campaigning or product description happening that like companies like Unilever, Shopify, they are currently doing. Then we also came across one thing like one of the blogs I read about Walmart also. So if you can shed some light on it, like what Walmart is doing right now is a store level demand forecasting on the basis of what data it's getting based on climate and all the other metadata that it's getting on a regional basis. It would be very effectively predicting what would be the demand forecast for a few of the product lines. And also, what good if any product is out of stock, then what will be the alternative, best alternative based on user preferences. So that all those things are happening right now, and as I've already mentioned, that's just the tip of the iceberg, and definitely there's a lot to be done in the scene. So moving forward to the next part of it. So we have already discussed about the opportunities now. So since we have talked about the opportunities, it's time to discuss some of the challenges. So while the business case for GenAI is compelling, the rate of changing AI technology is significantly fast, and it's not without risk. And when commercial leaders were asked about various barriers limiting their organization's adoption of AI technologies, then internal and external risks were at the top of the list. So we want to know your views on what are the primary technical challenges that Indian tech companies will face when implementing technologies like GenAI and how they are mitigating it. And also in terms of regulatory challenges, how can Indian tech companies strike a balance between innovation and compliance with data privacy laws while using GenAI as they go global?
Right. See, again, I think barriers or challenges is also a very industry or company specific issue, right? For a company like Swiggy, right? Because the example that I gave you, right, which is you asked for a certain food item. There, my only concern really is accuracy, right? Accuracy of the result, right? But in a very different context, like the legal context I gave, or some insurance context which I was talking about, right? There, issues like privacy, infringement, right? Those would be the more bigger challenges to tackle. But I don't think there's like a universal set of challenges that just work for every organization. It is different for different types of organizations, and it's also something which will evolve, right? And then I guess we'll figure it out. What do you want to add?
Just one thing to add, I guess one thing which is universal is what I feel as of now is the cost behind it.
Yeah.
So that's one big thing which at least Indian startups and overall the whole system can solve is how we can get the overall Gen AI being used in Indian ecosystem at a lower cost. How can the computation be done at a very minimum infrastructure? Because big firms or big MNCs can afford that, be it from cost point of view, be it from manpower point of view. Even a reduction using Gen AI means somewhere reducing your manpower. That is also a riskier thing. To get a man behind at least using in Gen AI don't require that. So those things can be managed by big firms, but at least from Indian ecosystem point of view, where startups are exploring this, it would be very important how we can manage it at a lower cost. And I agree with Siddhartha, accuracy plays a very important role in all the domains. Specifically, as he mentioned, with respect to food, we are fine. Instead of kachori, we can have a luchi in Kolkata, but for a legal case or for a healthcare, we can't do that. So, along with the accuracy, cost, one more factor might be how ChatGPT is for I used for Gen most of the cases. So how Gen is getting done overall. So any incorrect data, the accuracy part for use case, but overall also when we are using Gen AI, the output, how can that be modified by any company or anyone to make it look real? We are thinking all about text as of now. There are images, and yesterday itself I was reading the news that the war which is going on in Israel, there was a fake video which was being rolled out and spread across Instagram, and which was posted around because of some generic mode. So those things can also be very risky. And that's where how to stop that is a big part of expanding the Gen AI ecosystem in the startup world and in India specifically. You can add that.
Yeah, you both covered the most two important challenges, which is the accuracy and the computing requirements. See, from enterprise customer perspective, okay, companies are building these solutions for the next 10 years. Right now, one critical decision they need to take is what platform they are going to use. Are you going to use an open source Gen AI solution? Are you going to use the OpenAI or the ChatGPT? So this has multiple implications. Like if you are going to build your own Gen AI platform, it will take time to go to market. But if you use ChatGPT, then you are risking your data and you are exposing yourself to the open world. So there is a dilemma in organization, especially large organization, which way they need to start, which will have an impact, like long-standing impact for the next 10 years, or they want to see the benefits. So I see that is one of the challenges companies are right now facing.
All right. I mean, yeah, we all can agree to the fact that one shoe doesn't fit all. But definitely, but there are different, it depends on the industry which we are talking about, like Sir told about Swiggy. When it comes to Swiggy, it's mostly about accuracy, but it's more about when it comes to legal and insurance that changes. And also, like when we talk about job displacements and things like that, then as I already mentioned, that you need some resource or manpower behind would be handling and working on these solutions, right? So we are halfway through. Like but I would now just in the interest of time, we can take a couple of questions if we have from the audience. Can we have the mic, please? Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. I am Harshal Vasodia from the batch of 25. So, as we all know, India has been at the forefront to acknowledging the data privacy and rights. We've also passed a new bill, which is a personal data protection bill 2023 in the Lok Sabha. Now, according to my understanding, this bill will create frameworks that will help the people in two ways. Firstly, by defining the individual rights of the digital rights, and secondly, by making frameworks that will allow people to to gain insights on how much data can be fed. So my question here is, how can we improve the transparency of generative AI, thereby dissuading the data de-anonymization and the data leaks? I can start here.
See, data anonymization. How do you handle this private information in the Gen AI? Is a highly debated topic across the globe. One thing I don't agree to your point is India is not in the forefront. We are a little late to the data privacy law, but it is in place, and these Gen AI solutions need to comply. There is no option. See, there are ways of handling this problem. There are solutions in the market which can tag your data, either as sensitive or private data, and then you can in the Gen AI world, the communication will be most machine communication more than the machine to human. So you need to have this tag data which your Gen AI cannot access by default. It will be blocked, and then there will be options to mask this data in such a way that Gen AI solution can create insight out of your millions of private individual data, but you can never, I would say, track a specific individual. So that those are technologies in the market, security technologies in the market, which can handle this from a technical perspective.
One thing to add to that would be the ethics part to which tool you are using. For example, today most of us are using ChatGPT powered by OpenAI. So there's some ethics on the company side also that how they are using that data. And that is also an important factor when you are dealing about privacy of data. When everyone is putting up, we are discussing about all the domains, we never left any of the domains concerning from health to even overall legality. So when you're putting up anything on a tool, how those companies use the ethics, and that is also a very big domain altogether, where rules are being built, that a company getting these data, how much they can use it for their own benefit, how much the data can be sold or spread across different companies. So that is also another part which will play a role in this data privacy, like this adding to what Arun mentioned, keeping us the.
You see, it all starts with the crux of what is public data and what is private data, right? And I don't think it's very specific to GenAI. If you think about scraping technologies, basic scraping technologies, right? They have existed since ages. And they have scraped everything on the internet, on Twitter, Facebook, social media, everything and anything you write. Right? So what Arun earlier was mentioning, right? This can be scraped by GenAI, this can be scraped by GenAI. I don't think we even have the frameworks for that today. Right? It is all very theoretical. Right now, it's completely open. The GenAI system, AI, open AI systems can basically go into the internet, scrape anything and everything they want, and then give you a solution. Right? Whether it is ethical, whether it is accurate, whether it is infringing on someone's else's rights is a completely different thing. I mean, in the US, for example, right? There's a for a very long time, there was a strike by writers. I'm sure some of you would have heard about this, right? But the writers said you cannot use Gen AI for writing scripts because you're like, if you are writing scripts, effectively, where is Gen AI generating it from? It's generating from scripts we have written over the ages, right? And which is there in the open, and it's basically reading my script and generating it into an episode of Friends. So that's not allowed. And they stood on the strike for I think 6-7 months. I think recently there was a deadlock which kind of opened up and they said, okay, we will not use AI for writing scripts. Right. So I think it's again an open question, which at this point, forget India, I don't think even worldwide people have a very clear answer. Thank you. Just one more. I'll keep it short.
Sir, I'm Akshay Kumar from batch of 20. Good evening, sir. I'm Akshay Kumar from batch of 25. So, as rising the technology like Gen AI and ChatGPT, there's a growing fear that many jobs would be lost due to the automation. So, can you shed some light at can it be the other way around? Like, well, these technologies could even give rise to a lot of the different jobs in the various sectors. So, what's your take on this?
I'll do my on a more serious note, see, any new technology which has ever come in the world has led to a fundamental shift in how job markets operate. Right? You think of the first time industrial machines came in, manual labor went out, it receded for a certain time period, and then new jobs got created. I don't think Gen AI is any different. There will definitely be jobs lost across domains. Like customer support is we were just discussing some time back. Customer support is the first place where you see, either people reducing jobs or people being reallocated to something else, right? Because it is one of the easiest places where you can use Gen AI, right? But I think in the long run, or at least that's a hope, right? That Gen AI will lead to innovations, which will eventually lead to jobs which have a higher, let's say, higher economic value, right? Which has always happened in the industry, right? When manual labor went down and then industrial machines came in, it did lead to a job loss, right? But eventually, the new jobs have been created for a higher economic value, right? And that's how countries and economies grow, per se. So I think that is my sense will happen in the long run.
Yeah, agree with Siddhartha. We should think from Gen AI as you were discussing initially, something which is help individuals to take up the tasks which can be automated or which is more monotonous. The creativity part, exactly what we discussed about the writer's case, can't come directly in Gen AI. That is something which humans are still doing. So one way to see is most of our tasks which was more repetitive can be reduced via Gen AI, but we are getting extra time to do more creative things. Today, at our role, we can think of that the thinking part for brainstorming next week to spend 20%, 40%, or it can be X%. But because of automation or giving some task, overall Gen AI as a third party for us, who can do it an assistant, be it a junior, which is we are talking about a Gen AI. We are getting more time to do something which is on thinking part, solving the problem part. And I have one more point. I guess recently I read an article from a skilled labor point of view in India. We are estimating that we would have lack of skilled labor by 2024, 2025. So Gen AI will play an important role where we can use that overall to have a good, I would say, overall start with respect to international countries and not lose out on what we are building on. As Arun mentioned, we are not the forefront with most of the things in Gen AI as of now, but at least we can start building up, and most of the fundings in recent months has come on startups which are based on Gen AI. So Indian ecosystem overall is trying to use Gen AI to solve issues and to use it for more creative solution, but not to take away any of the roles. So the creativity and thinking is coming from humans only.
Totally agree to both of your points. We human beings are an elite species because of all the disruptive discoveries we made, from wheels to generating AI today. It has always resulted in long-term prosperity for human beings, and generative AI is also going to do the same. In short term, there will be job losses. Some industries might shut shop, but in the long term, it is good for the industry and the market and the geographies as a whole. It's going to help. All right, so we have a dedicated Q&A session scheduled at the end of this. So we'll take the rest of the question at that time. Moving on, now it's time to discuss about the skill set required to excel the team. I mean, we all know that it's a standard practice in tech firms where you have some sort of incubation centers or some sort of POCs in the name of innovation and things. So will we keep going on parallelly? And the question here is that how many of them actually see a day of light? And that brings us to this question that what strategies and initiatives do you believe are essential for nurturing and developing the talent and skills required to harness the full potential of Gen AI technologies? And also, is there any specific strategies or program that Indian tech companies can adopt to nurture AI talent? Arun sir, would you like to? Yeah. So, I mean, unlike Walmart and Swiggy, we are a company where we need to create Gen AI solution at scale to our customers across the globe. So, and Gen AI, wherever we go, this is the thing which customer want to do today. So we need to have a huge resource, I would say, pool to run all these Gen AI solutions. And we are handling this multi-prong. Number one, we have 30,000 employees, Hexaware. All the employees are mandatorily supposed to do foundational Gen AI activities, so that you have a sense of what is this, what are the technologies involved. Secondly, there has been a lot of investments from bringing in real industry experts in Gen AI, scientists from academia, and also leaders who can really architect the ChatGPT, the OpenAI, etc. Whatever we see as Siddhartha, it's just the tip of the iceberg. This is the coolest thing with the one we are seeing in the market. But as a field, this Gen AI, deep learning, etc., is so deep, and the real companies, if they want to make real difference, should have to have models which can really transform the businesses. For that, we have in the last 6 months invested a lot in bringing the right talent to the company by hiring. Apart from this, see, we have different service lines. Like for example, we do cloud application, we do modernization, digital transformation. So these are like different service lines within our organization, and we have generative AI champions who are supposed to bring in solutions which can do the same better with new ways of doing things in Gen AI. So that is one way we are handling or transforming the way we deliver our legacy services to the customer. Lastly, we have a dedicated industry-specific Gen AI team. We work around across 7 different industry verticals. For example, airline. So there will be a group of people from an airline domain perspective who
closely work with all other airline customers, be part of all forums where the airline generic and discussions are done, and then churn out a lot of POCs which is relevant to the customer and the industry. So these are different ways we are trying to see how we can catch up to the pace at which this business is growing in generative way. And I agree. I mean, see, it's an interesting question, right? Where will this education come from? And I go back 10 years, and it's it's in a very similar space where product management was 10 years back, right? It was just something coming up, people didn't really understand, and we were not sure where do we learn product management from, right? And eventually, what happened is, new ed tech started coming up. They started teaching product management. Colleges started teaching product management. Colleges started having specific courses for product management. I think that's how Gen AI to an extent will also evolve, right? More than industry, at least in India, I would believe that it is the tech firms and the colleges which will actually take a first step in that direction, right? Like if I talk very specific to Swiggy, the team that's been at the forefront of whatever we are doing in Gen AI is the data sciences team that we used to have, right? Which basically worked on core personalization of home screens, algorithms that power different systems within the company. They are the ones who are now working on these technologies, right? And I think fundamentally Gen AI is again linked to neural networks, deep learning, machine learning, and so on. Right. So sorry, can you hear me here? So if you are really interested in that, I think that's the starting point, right? There's a course on machine learning, I think by Andrew Deck, right, which is a very very famous course, right? And it's I think available for free on Google, right? So I think those are the starting points. Yes, they have not been tuned yet to the conversational Gen AI, Chat GPT space, which will happen over a period of time. But my sense is, more than companies doing it, in India, you will definitely see the educational institutions doing it first, right? Because the market is much bigger. So you will always see those forces play out first. And then you will eventually see the tech firms also do it.
Agree with Siddhartha on that, and I think around 10 years back when I did my graduation, I had a course in CS which was machine learning. So it's all about awareness which now people have. In fact, someone would have come and sat in front of the audience and said machine learning and artificial intelligence. You would have thought, what is this? You are not interested in now because you all are aware of so much of what ChatGPT, OpenAI, what and all the algorithms can do. The curiosity to learn about this has increased, and that is where the learning will come from. We have all possible resources to use, and the biggest skill set for acquiring this is the curiosity only. We don't need any specific books. As Siddharth mentioned, the course is free. And I was reading earlier on same article, same course that people have multi-folded enrollment after the launch of ChatGPT. Because people are now aware that if I go in this domain or learn this is the useful skill set which I am gaining. And as Vishwa mentioned, companies in India will not be looking for curating or building this skill set, but individuals itself, they would be building the skill set and coming into a company. And that's where everyone, we should be thinking that it's not about skill set, it's more about the awareness what we have got about this domain and how we can get it. We are in a stage where everything is available online. That's the biggest benefit thing. When 10 years back we were discussing product management, and I was having a chat with one of your students only, that we never had anything to read, because it was something new. Product management was a term which was new in India 10, 12 years back. Same thing is not the case now, where we don't know what AI is, how to learn about it. The next search can give you, and even a ChatGPT can give you a proper curated course how to work on ChatGPT. So that's the most important thing for us, that how we are using the present internet, how we are using the present social media, to learn about the skill set instead of just exploring it and using it for our entertainment.
Sure. So absolutely, we totally resonate with the panel. These buzzwords and these trending terms will keep on coming. Like last year or last year, we had something like metaverse, right? So you cannot expect that. Okay, this is something trendy. Let's just open a course on it or something like that, right? So it is up to the interest and the drive of the individuals how they are taking it. And as Sarah has already mentioned, things are available on internet and it's available for free. So people try to like the individuals try to take inspiration, like learn on their own, build up their skill set, and then maybe that can be a leverage point for them in the industry. And maybe we as the future leaders can also use that to try the projects. So that is one of the things. And moving on to the last part of it, talking about the future scope. I mean, we want to know from our panel that what and like other than what is existing right now, what do you think would be the emerging or prospective Gen AI use cases that you see are the most potential to revolutionize Indian tech companies, strategies and offering on a global stage? And also when we talk about Indian context, so how could Gen AI be able to address critical societal challenges in India, such as healthcare, agriculture, and education in the near future?
This IIFT started with a similar process that the domains in India, which for my what I would think is the edtech and health tech, where we are lagging behind. We see that at least in tier one, tier two, we might have decent penetration, but tier three or villages, we don't have the required skill set, which is must have for that kind of environment. And that's where I guess Gen AI will play a very important role, uh, giving additional manpower, which is just provided by Gen AI here. One physician can cater to 10 patients in a given day. The 50% of the effort goes to understanding the patient. If Gen AI can automate that while the first 10 minutes of discussion, that same doctor can entertain 20, 30 patients in the same time frame. And that's what the power of Gen AI would be useful to solve the problems we are facing. Same thing with the educational sector. But one thing we have to always consider that when we are thinking from education, biggest point which came from one of the recent article was ChatGPT is being used for a lot of assignments, and I guess 99% of you all raised your hands. Uh, Reading and writing is something which is used to start our thinking. Now we are using Gen AI to use to our assignments, to do most of our even in professional world, mails are getting written by Gen AI. So the thinking power is getting reduced because of that, and that was one study which people were doing how it can harm in a negative way. So the positive is also there with respect to all these sectors, but we have to consider that we don't take it in a so full-fledged way that it doesn't let us harness our own skill set, which is the creativity and the thinking part.
And you double click on one of the point you mentioned about education in tier three and tier two cities. I don't know if you guys know, see in Europe, in European countries where English is not first language, the higher education is always in the local language. Like in a French city, you will be learning engineering, medical in French. In Sweden, you will be studying medical courses in Swedish. But in India, if you are in a higher education, you can only learn in English. Gen AI have the potential to literally translate the entire curriculum into 20 local Indian languages, and that opens up the potential of really creating education. Of colleges which can have all the local languages. So those are the possibilities I see really can help. Yeah, there was this TV show. I'm just trying to recall the name. There was a robot was called Vicky. I know it's a small one, right? It's probably before your time, right? But so she was basically a robot who could do a lot of things. And then there's this guy who made it. And he didn't tell the world she was a robot. He basically told them
She's his daughter, right? I hope Gen AI takes us there. I'm really hoping that Gen AI can get us a virtual clear on those lines. But since upon a time, my bet really is on legal more than legal, right? I think that's that's one of these industries which has not seen innovation for the longest period of time, right? I cannot think of any innovation which has happened in the legal space for the last 50 years. The same courtrooms, the same lawyer, the same black dress, the same way the proceeding, the same time it takes. Nothing's changed, right? And that's exactly the reason why so many cases are pending. Even the CGI has gone on record and said it's a problem. Right? So the lawmakers of this country are saying it's a problem. Nobody has a solution. And it's a big problem. A person not getting justice for 10, 15 years, right, is insanely bad for a democracy. Right? And I really hope that is one space which Gen AI can transform. Right? And then transform not just in terms of speed of judgments, transform it in the form of the way we understand legal terminologies. Have you ever tried to read an NDA document? Just a simple non-disclosure agreement. Try reading it. It is full of jargon. All it needs to say is, you cannot share data without my permission. I cannot share data without your permission. That is the gist of an NDA. You write 3 pages full of 50 jargons around it, right? And you ask a lawyer, they say, no, these jargons are important because they have ABC effects, right? I think this space is ripe for innovation, and I really hope that the GPA can improve it.
Sure, so we agree with the theme. I mean, talking about healthcare or education, or even in education also, like sir talked about vernacular, right? I mean, your local language. And looking at the diversity of India, I mean, it would be really great if you would see like all the courses or even the content which is already available online. Like let's say we go on some sort of course or things like that. We can do some sort of course that's typical in English. But yeah, the person who is not that province in English would definitely feel it a bit of a difficult to understand things. And if it gets to its with or local language, then it would be absolutely amazing. So that would be one thing. And also when we talk about summarizing things and things like that, like the mention about the legal document, the NDA, well, that is absolutely true. That we never read the NDA. We just the HR says to sign and we just sign it and share the digital copy. That's what that we do. So that is also one of the things. And when it comes to content creation, definitely there is a creativity erosion, as well as already mentioned. Like we are not utilizing our brains for reading and writing, and we are solely dependent on Gen AI. So definitely it will have some adverse effects on our reading capability. So keeping all that thing, now I think we can open for Q&A. So and yeah, before Q&A, I'm so sorry that I would like to just have an ending remark from all three of you. An ending note. Keep ending that from me.
I really got a statement from Sam and founder of OpenAI. He says that whatever we see today is just, as Siddhartha told, the tip of the iceberg. You will say Gen AI has reached its potential when it brings something new to this world. Right now, it is like insights, or they're like identifying trends and giving them similar output. The day when Gen AI can give us new knowledge, something new to the humanity, that's when we will get the full potential of generative AI.
Agree to Arun. Overall, as a human, we have a tendency to fear first, and that's what every other software, every other innovation does. And here also, we are facing the same. But overall, I also believe that at the end, mean that 1 year or 10 years, we would be using Gen AI as an tool to improve our efficiency, productivity, and output. And one use case we never discussed as of now was how overall Gen AI is getting used in the HR domain. 96% or 97% accuracy of filtering profiles is being done by Gen AI. And it's something which is getting missed because of human error. Profiles are getting missed because of that. That's where benefit comes in when we think about Gen AI. Now, that would be the overall use case. So we are about to the vision, we have not vision also, we can at least see a very drastic change in few years because of Gen AI.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Gen AI is here to stay, right? It's as Anno said, right? It's inevitable. It will happen, and I don't think there's any running away from it. Uh, there's professionals who are going to enter into the corporate world, right? And you guys are going to be the decision makers for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? It's important to understand that this technology will need to be embraced. This technology will need to be enhanced, and then honestly, it's one of those things India can actually excel in. If you think about it, no country has really cracked it. Right? Everybody is really exploring at this point, right? And there's a huge opportunity because India has an amazing talent pool, right, to explore this. So we need to look at it as an opportunity, while also being cognizant of the fact that there will be pitfalls to it, right? There will be a lot of different issues which we three sitting here, I don't think can even envisage at this point of time, right? So the ball is actually in your court, right? It's here to stay, and it's all about you on how you embrace it and take it forward.
Thank you, sir. Now we are open for Q&A. I request the junior coordinators to keep the mic standing.
This is also, it was a very insightful session. As Siddhartha already said, he was speaking about an article by CTO of Swiggy, Madhusudan Rao. So in that article, there were two interesting aspects. One was conversational search, which we already know. The second one was the voice search using Gen AI. And the interesting thing Swiggy is doing that they are building their own large language model in-house using Swiggy's feedback and all. And these two pilot features are expected to launch by this September. We are very eagerly waiting for those features. Can you give some more light of how these features are going to work and how what are the new features Swiggy is going to bring in using Gen AI?
Yeah, so I'm not privy to exactly the GTM of that product. But my understanding is products like these generally take some time to GTM, right? Given that the CTO has actually gone ahead and publicly said these are things they're launching, I'm sure it is going to be launched. It might even be being piloted in a few cities in the country. I don't get that feeling. But my sense is some of those things, the one on dine out, for example, the one on the search capability, the one on the support, customer support is something I am personally doing, right? So that's something we are very actively exploring, and in the next few months we'll definitely start deploying a few.
Just one more thing, I request the students here don't directly ask the company strategy specific question. I mean, you cannot simply ask Coca-Cola and secret formula, right? I mean, so just be cognizant of that fact. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. I'm from the batch of 25. So my question is regarding the future of integration of AI into the product management and technology. So as we have read in the industry 4.0, where the focus is mostly on the automation and there is almost negligible human effort. While in the industry 5.0 focuses on human intervention, also considering human in the loop. So in the segment, what should be the future as a product manager? How should we approach the product tech features? Like more considering human in the loop or just totally automating the system?
Well, when we are building something, we are building for our customers, end users, and a problem what the customer is facing. So when we go for the first principles itself, it would be our customer. How what is to be built is that. So at the end of the day, we can't remove the human factor. It's the automation which can play the role of how it would be built. So as we were getting asked for the Swiggy also, it's not the problem which is being the build or solution which is being for the overall Gen AI is for automation of machine. It's a customer problem which is getting built via a GenAI tool. So human, it's the human intervention. It's at the end. The user is always a human. How you are building it can only be modified. Sometimes it might be a chatbot, or it can be a very supervised chatbot, which we are using it now. It can be unsupervised language model, which is ChatGPT, and tomorrow it might be something like Swiggy, what Siddharth mentioned. But at the end of the day, you are solving a problem for a customer, which is being clear from me. So you will never, at least I am hopeful it's never come to a stage that you are building something for a machine and not for user or a human.
Just wanted to add something. I'm not a product manager, but why I understood the beauty of product management is that you understand the unstated need of the customer. Okay. With customer, even I don't know what I need, but you know what I need. What if tomorrow generative AI know what even you don't know? You can go one level above and you know that unstated needs of us.
That's why I said our job.
That's not clear whose job is at stake. So like I would just like to add on that this also happens with us when we are conducting some sort of primary research for some of the feature development or things like that during the course of our project. And when we ask the end user that what is it that is bothering you or what is the issue, they're like, I'm not sure. Maybe so then we need to pick that. Don't you think that this is the issue? And they're like, yeah, could be. So the user in itself is not many of the times we have seen that they are not aware of it, but yeah, it's a task of the product man to understand that this could be a potential issue and this could be a potential gap that needs to be addressed. And we have come to a stage in product management where it is given. Companies are supposed to know what I need. I'm not supposed to know what I need. So that's
Agree with Arun here, and I think overall the company we see, I would say all the devices coming, no one asked for an iPod. No one knew that they can be a small instrument compared to a Walkman that can have all the music stored. So it was again, one has to understand what is the problem. As of now, it's just humans focusing on that, but 20% of their creativity thinking. GenAI can take up the 50% of our efforts, can be a helpful assistant, or as Siddharth mentioned, can take away our job. All thinking can build in also.
next question.
So my question is basically related to the data biases that might occur while training the Gen AI model. So I would like to quote an instance of TCS chief HR, Mr. Milind Kakkar. So Milind Kakkar. So when he was questioned how is he integrating AI into hiring and talent acquisition, he said that he uses it to analyze information. He also said that it is not very efficient at this point in time because of data bias in that. Like for instance, it prefers a particular sort of candidates over the other, due to which there might be potential diversity mismatch in the company. What are your views on it? Firstly, secondly, since Mr. Arun said he is into specialty insurance sector. And what generative AI is doing right now is in compiling information, it gives us a good starting point on the basis of data we are already have. So what if customer comes with a special sort of data that has not been registered? How we are gonna push that using Gen?
Both questions are tough. I'll take the first one first. See the biases. This is, I think, one of the biggest challenge the GenAI is right now. I would say grappling with. The GenAI models scale the biases actually. If there is a bias, actually the output will be like more biased. Now, my bias versus like I'm recruiting someone, so I will have my creativity now. I look for profiles in that way of meets that criteria, and Manish will have his own criteria. So, I mean, I don't know whether you can call it as bias or not, but then again, you will have 1,000 recruiters, and how can you have one GenAI knowing that what is my kind of a candidate versus single kind of candidate. So maybe in future there will be solutions to handle the bias part of it. Coming to your, I hope that answered my question. I mean, that is that I don't think there's an answer, it's not an answer, but that's my point of view. Any comments on that?
Just one point on the biasness part is, as a human, if you see, we can check from the audience how many of you all give positive feedback compared to a negative feedback to any product or anything. So it's a human biasness. Most, I guess, I just did not see any, and most will not give a positive feedback. But if you get a bad order, itself can confirm how many positive reviews or feedback people get. We got a very good delivery compared to a bad delivery, and customer support is required. So the biasness is there from our end itself, which is getting clear into the system, and that's what the system would learn and scale. That is where the learning opportunity is also there. That this is how biased it. So one of the very big use case of GenAI which is coming into is summarizing the reviews. And I think I saw it in Amazon also. They were piloting it a few months back. So they are just not using the positive and negative. They're mixing both the reviews and giving a summary, because you know that negative summaries or negative feedback are biased. So as a human, when we have that tendency, a biasness model is learning from that itself. That is something what we have given to the model, what we are facing it ahead. But at least we as a human, we are not changing it. But model can be changed from our end. You can train it with data where positivity is there. We can at least give grades. We can understand. Again, I will not get into technicality too, but it's a scope is there to reduce the biasness for a machine compared to a human being altogether.
Even your second question, I've not forgotten that. See, specialty insurance is called specialty insurance because there are not two customers who are same. There is no other street in the world like Avenue Shanghai. So it's always going to be a new customer, a new scenario. But there is a method to this madness, which is the job of underwriter. So they look into a similar set of documents, a similar set of background checks, a similar set of let's say revenue protection, etc. So there is the way they do it, and we are using generative AI to help them to make that process faster. But the final decision has to be taken by the underwriter only. Okay, but it's always going to be two different specialist insurance customers will be always different. That's why they fall under that category.
Good evening, sir. I'm Arpit Nayan from the batch of 25. My question is, given that the Indian IT industry is currently sitting on a gold mine and trying to ride the $4 trillion AI wave, so what are the strategic changes that the companies need to make in order to make use of these opportunities while also focusing on safe and sustainable practices?
I will take that because I come from the industry. There is no today. There is no safe and sustainable practices. You need to get into the Gen AI space. All the CEOs, irrespective of the companies, this top priority, they are personally running the Gen AI practices, ensuring that every department, every possible ways, first of all, they can train the employees, get to help the customers, get to help their own business lives, and to adopt as fast as possible. So that is the only strategy today. There is no, I mean, I don't see anything else. So it is the number one priority in the IT industry. Anyone else? You can just
Good evening, sir. I'm Lokesh Agrawal from the batch of 25. Sir, I was just wondering that can we include a couple Gen AI with semantics? Because as you mentioned, the use case of maybe the code cases and the biasness. So can that be reduced if we are kind of coupling semantics with Gen AI? Because that will also generate more personalized response. And I believe it will also help us in reducing the bias.
What do you mean with semantics?
Sir, I mean, including more of like semantics, the emotions which the humans offer, the point of differentiation, like what we have been trying to do with the understanding the context of the tweets, for example. So for getting more context of what is being asked and giving response on that basis.
You could theoretically, right? But right now, I don't think those semantics are available in a format that you can consume. Right? It's very subjective, right? In an ideal world, yes, if you could combine semantics with the power of scraping and Gen AI and so on, you could come to my ideal world of creating a wiki. But it's difficult. I don't think that technology of integrating semantics, at least to my knowledge, has even been formulated yet. I mean, how do you generate the right inputs to capture them and then throw it into your system and say, hey, here's an input. Take this into consideration and then generate an output. At least to my knowledge, I don't think that's even been formulated for now.
Yeah. Good evening. So we have seen that the role of chief AI officer is coming up. So, but the proposal is very less. So, a lot of Indian companies don't have an exact role of chief AI officer. Because there is not a scope defined for it, or is it like internet chief CIO? And what is the future of chief AI officer in India, like big company?
It's very difficult. It's very similar. Sorry to product management, as I said, right? 5 years back, 7 years back, there are not so many PM positions. Now it's everywhere. Right? I think it will take time to evolve. The chief AI officer is like at the top of the pyramid, right? Right now, companies are figuring out, okay, what should we do with AI? Right? What can we do with AI given the constraints that we have? Right? Once there are enough use cases within a company, right? They will eventually formulate it and say, hey, here's a group and here's a lead. Right now, that role is at least in the organizations I know is largely taken by the CTO. Right, he or she is the one who is leading these initiatives. But just like CIO, Chief Information Officer, right? These roles will evolve over a period of time. We can take a couple of questions in the last two. I mean,
Sir, and Manish.
so right now, what we are seeing is all the product and tech exports.
Like in what I've been seeing, they're riding on the hype. So what's happening is we are integrating AI into our applications and everything. But this is just mostly because everyone is talking about AI. So for example, if you're talking about the Swiggy prompting thing, so what I was thinking is if whatever we are integrating into that, so if it is taking data from my orders, for example, you're talking about the gym. So if I'm ordering something healthy, let's say every day at 7 p.m. So if whatever I'm integrating into that, which training based on that, then I think it's very beneficial. But if we are just integrating the AI app, for example, if I can go to ChatGPT and ask, I've returned from the gym, what should I eat? So if we are integrating the same thing into our application, then that is basically we are riding on the hype. And I think Mintra example also would be something like that. So what do you think? What would be the development based on that in the near future? Could be, for example, the model would be taking training from whatever I have ordered or what my preferences have been. So what's your opinion on that?
One has to take your preferences into account, right? Otherwise, as you said, it's not really adding a lot of value, right? And then the second thing which it does, in another example or the Swiggy example, is that it provides you an end-to-end experience. You go to ChatGPT and ask him, what do I eat? He will tell you, hey, eat a banana, right? But on Swiggy, you say, hey, what do you eat? They'll say, yes, a banana is going to be delivered to your house in the next 5 minutes, right? So I think it's the end-to-end ecosystem which is, which will add the real value, right? And I keep coming back to the earlier point. Today, the usage of Gen AI for very, very large extent is extremely ephemeral. It is all those fancy little things that we are doing. And we're all happy doing those things. But end of the day, it is still to a large extent repackaging existing solutions, putting this wrapper of AI around it and saying, hey, why don't you use it? Right? And I think there are much better ways to use Gen AI. We have just not reached that stage.
Good evening, sirs. I'm Shaida Khan from the batch 25. Basically, my question is that AI is integrated across all breadths of industries like agri-tech, martech, fintech, everything. However, there is philosophy of fraud managers reach the depth of it is not as much as the breadth of it. So how can we are entering into the industry now? So how can we leverage whatever we have we are studying as of now, as well as learn more into this particular domain? So what new skills can we add so that we are able to leverage Gen AI in our careers as well?
Related the question is what skills you can think of or learn so that you can use Gen AI well in your future work, correct?
Yeah.
As because we were discussed in last 1 hour, it's just the tip of the iceberg what we are exploring, and it just at the exploratory phase itself. So how to use Gen AI in the best possible way is something we have to understand. And as you said, from product management altogether, one big use case of product management, which is starting getting used is for mockups. So when you are trying to build a particular mockups, it takes a lot of time when you are trying for individual use cases, individual platforms. In generative AI, you can just give a snapshot and it can give you a mockup. So there are good use cases from product management which is being used. But all the domains we talked about, whenever the use case comes in, as of now, we call it the product managers who are working and building it. So we can't say just one particular domain where product management can be learned in. From a product management, they would be user research. You can doing a competitive research used to be a very cumbersome task long back. Now you can just sit on ChatGPT and ask all about your competitor via it, and you will get at least 90% of the information. So starting from a whole product lifecycle management from research to mockups and how will the user behave, all those things can be done. So what are the different points where your information can be outsourced to a tool or third person here, which is Gen AI, is something what you have to understand and how to get that information. You can't ask Gen AI that we have to deliver food and what can be built. It can't build a Swiggy, but at least it can help you understand that how can you improve the experience of a customer when it is raining. So that's how the understanding or learning part can come in, is what I would say.
Okay, I guess just the last question, and that should be your.
As you talking about that, yeah, right. This generative AI. So, what are the implications? What are the environmental implications of the massive computation power that is required to develop Gen AI? And what steps are industry taking to reduce the carbon footprint of power that is required to produce AI?
It is interesting. Okay, so your point is very, I would say, accurate. Gen AI needs a lot of computing power. People are, all the companies, all the government, or I would say big organizations are not bothered about the implication of computing power today. But there will be a tipping point where there is not enough computing power for these companies to run the Gen AI application. I really don't know how and when those regulations or when that, I mean, more than the regulations. Okay. I've seen that Bitcoin failed in a way because of the kind of computing power it needs to run that kind of system. Maybe Gen AI also will reach that kind of saturation where literally, I would say the new age Gen AI solutions need to find ways to do the same calculation at 1/4 of the computing power required today. That will be the new developments which might be coming in the future. we agree, we talk about going paperless and things like that, and then we are running these huge data warehouses to provide data to our models. Alright, so with that, I guess that's the end of the Q&A and also about the summit. So now I'll just quickly invite Jagdish to give the thanks on our behalf. Thank you all.
Teacher, on behalf of IIFT, Mr. Arun, Mr. Manish, Siddhartha, moderator, the Vishwanath for enlightening students on shared thoughts and how GenAI can help in their app to craft global studies. And talk about leveraging GenAI studies for underwriting of special insurance, commercial insurances based on this leveraging conversational AI for customer retention, hyper-personalized shopping, and scope of GenAI for legal and legal services in India. We have also touched upon skill sets required for understanding and implementing GenAI, where panelists have highlighted about undergrad course on ML as the stepping stone for GenAI to anyone who wants to explore about the skill. We've also discussed about GenAI's capability of bridging the gap for multilingual education. The capabilities perfected to say of extensive vocabularies. Having said that, personal GenAI is just the tip of the iceberg, and all we need is curiosity and awareness to delve more into GenAI. I'm sure each one of us is having something back. We will help us in becoming sustainable technology leaders in this dying and changing world. Once again, I will thank the panelists for taking time from their busy schedules and sharing insights their vast experience. Now, on behalf of the team, we would like to present the award appreciation for Mr. Arun. Now, I'm taking the team to present the appreciation to Mr. Siddhartha. Now, I invite question to Mr. Manish Saraf. Special thanks to the team coordinator, Vishwanath, for coordinating the session. Thank you, everyone, and have service.
Sure.
Kalyan and Vishwanath, first Vishwanath, you have to show me now.
You well. Thank you so much, Ryan, for having this and insightful session. As they say that all's well that ends well, right? Today marking with Vivaan 9.0, we are nearing to this close of business hour. Vivaan 9.0 has explored innovative strategies, shared valuable insights and forged new partnerships, and more sustainable for to actually have a vision for more sustainable future. Our collective commitment and to sustainable and digital transformation is not just a vision. It's a promise to create a promise to create a better vision and
roadmap for IIFT. As we conclude the summit today, let's carry the inspiration, knowledge, and the connections which we have gained back to our design labs. Let's turn ideas into actions, opportunities, into realities and challenges. A huge round of applause for the wonderful clubs and sets who have actually coordinated the science team. And the class should not go to a closure, because I want to also mention the media committee, the team Renaissance, the event planning committee, the average staff and supporting staff, and the beloved team. I would like to specially thank our media committee coordinator, Mr. Arpit Yadav, and also different energies for making all the arrangements, and the guy has worked. Not only me, everyone in IFT has actually seen that. Let's keep the momentum to create. Let's keep the momentum going, the ideas flowing, and the spirit of collaboration alive. Until we meet again, stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep driving change. Here's to a brighter, more powerful, and enduring future to all and every one of you. And now, we would like to call upon speakers also to actually assemble at the admin gate, where we have our skyline, a skyline ceremony, which also embarks closure of this particular. So again, a round of applause for everyone sitting here. Please, thank you.